There is a country where the Mercedes Maybach is no longer the best-selling car in its own price class. That country is China, the largest car market on Earth. The car that dethroned it has delivered 18,500 units in 12 months and has held the top spot in the million-yuan luxury segment for 8 consecutive months. It is not German, it is not British, it is not Japanese. It is built by a Chinese company backed by Huawei, and this year they decided the winning formula was not extravagant enough, so they built something above it. The Maextro S800 Grand Design, and buried in its chassis is a single number that no Rolls-Royce, no Bentley, and no Maybach currently on sale can answer. Why should you care wherever you are watching from? Because the last time this happened, the industry laughed, and then it never stopped happening. In 1989, Toyota launched the Lexus LS400, and Europe called it a photocopy. Within a decade, every German flagship was benchmarking it. What you are looking at now is that moment repeating itself, except faster, with more money behind it, and with technology the incumbents do not have. Whether this car ever reaches your country or not, the car you buy in 5 years will be shaped by it. This is the full briefing. Start with the price. 1,388,000 yuan, roughly 193,000 US dollars before local taxes. In Europe, that money buys a well-optioned Mercedes, Maybach S-Class. In the Gulf states, it is Bentley Flying Spur territory. In China, it now buys this one single configuration, 4 individual seats, no bench. Because in this class, every passenger is a principal. The body is 5,480 millimeters long, nearly 5.5 meters, on a 3,370 millimeter wheelbase. Those figures were chosen for one reason. They were benchmarked directly against the Maybach, and they concede nothing. 2 powertrains. The pure electric version carries a 120 kilowatt-hour battery, upgraded from 97 in the standard car, with dual motors and all-wheel drive, rated at 780 kilometers of range on China's test cycle. Treat that cycle with the same skepticism you treat any laboratory number. The alternative is a range extender. 3 motors, 1 front and 2 rear, a 65 kilowatt-hour battery, and a petrol engine that never drives the wheels. It only generates electricity. Either way, a limousine longer than a Range Rover reaches 100 kilometers per hour in 4.7 seconds. In silence, but straight-line speed is the cheapest commodity in the electric era. The reason this car exists is craft, and this is where the story stops being about specifications and starts being about culture. Walk towards it and you see a gold line running down the center of the bonnet, and a second gold line flowing 4.5 meters along the flank. That waistline is painted by hand, not applied, not printed. Painted by a human being, and where it tapers to its finish, it is 1/10 of a millimeter thick. Touch it and your finger feels nothing, because it sits perfectly flush with the paint. The badges are rimmed in gold. The 21 spoke wheels carry a complete gold ring. Described in words, it sounds like excess. Seen in person, reviewers reach past Cadillac, past Maybach, and land on the same 2 names. Rolls-Royce for the presence, Aston Martin for the handwork. Because the interior is where the hours live, the door panels appear to be single sculpted pieces of timber. They are more than 1,300 individual wooden pieces, cut, fitted, and joined by hand, inlaid with copper. The 2-tone steering wheel takes 5 hours to bend and wrap. The seats are finished with a weaving technique descended from ancient Chinese textile craft, and a single set of seats takes an artisan 10 hours. The headrests carry hand-stitched embroidery. One reviewer compared the woven leatherwork to Bottega Veneta, and that is the real statement here. For a century, automotive luxury has meant European craft traditions, English coach building, Italian leather, German engineering. This car answers with Chinese craft traditions, woven into a flagship, and asks the world to judge them at the same table. The rear cabin is engineered around 1 occupant. The principal, the projector for the rear cinema screen, now retracts flush into the cabin, so the front seats can slide and recline without obstruction. There is a shoehorn integrated into the B-pillar. There is a privacy sound field, switch it on, and the rear passengers hear the front row clearly, while the front row cannot hear the rear at all. Conversations happen in the back of this car that the chauffeur will never know occurred. Anyone who has ridden in the back of a Maybach or a Phantom knows the brief. This car read the brief and added to it. Above the chauffeur sits hardware that borders on the absurd. 6 LiDAR sensors, 1 inside the cabin. 4 solid-state units around the body, 3 across the nose alone. The roof-mounted unit has its own washer jet and a soft wiper blade, to keep the sensor clean in rain. This is hardware built for level 3 autonomy and beyond. And here is the honest caveat. Almost no jurisdiction on Earth currently permits its full use, so the human behind the wheel remains responsible everywhere, full stop. But the redundancy is real, and it exists today. It is also the only car on sale anywhere that fits electronic camera mirrors and conventional physical mirrors at the same time. Because some markets trust screens, some never will, and at this price the customer is not asked to compromise. Now the money question, because this car sits $51,000 above the top standard S800, and that gap deserves an audit. Some of it is simple arithmetic. Two-tone paint is an $8,300 option on the standard car. Standard here, the Starlight headliner is an $11,000 option there, standard here. Huawei sells this same active suspension on a cheaper SUV for about $7,000. And then there is one detail that will amuse anyone who has ever optioned a German car. The full self-driving software is effectively free on the cheaper standard model. On this flagship, the subsidy shrinks, so unlocking the same software costs about $1,700 extra. The most expensive car in the range charges for what the cheaper one gives away. Porsche has been teaching this lesson for decades. The student has graduated, which brings us to the number underneath the car. The reason this briefing exists: every wheel has its own 800-volt actuator. The lift force at each corner is 12,000 newtons, 1.2 tons of force, per wheel. That is the largest suspension lift force of any production car on sale today, from any manufacturer, on any continent. Unlock the car, and the body rises to greet you at boarding height. Brake hard, and the nose barely acknowledges it. Corner, and the actuators cancel the lean before your inner ear registers movement. Reviewers stood a bottle of water on the console and drove. It stayed upright in a collision. The system can throw the body upward in milliseconds to change how the impact loads the structure. Passengers describe the same sensation people reported the first time they rode in an electric car. It is so smooth it briefly disorients you. And then you step back into a conventionally suspended luxury car, and it feels agricultural. If all of that still feels too rational, the options list is waiting: a $28,000 embroidery package with hand-stitched cushions, embroidered seat belt shoulder pads, and New Zealand wool floor mats. For $4,200, the rear refrigerator lid can be engraved with a dragon, a horse, a tiger, or an ox. This is not car industry pricing logic. This is Hermes logic. A Birkin bag is not priced by its leather, and this car is not priced by its parts. That is not an accident. It is the entire point. So, the global verdict: if you are buying in China and you want a flagship that carries your own culture in every stitch, the 3-motor range extender is the one, and the $51,000 premium buys you into something closer to a numbered edition than a trim level. If you simply want the engineering, the standard S800 delivers most of this for far less. If you are in Europe, the Middle East, or Southeast Asia, watch the export announcements, because Chinese luxury brands are coming, and this is the ceiling they are building towards. And if you are Mercedes, BMW, or Rolls-Royce, the message is already internal memo material. The market you counted on to buy your flagships forever has started building its own. And 18,500 customers a year have already switched sides. A century of European monopoly on automotive luxury just ended. It ended quietly, on air suspension, with a hand-painted gold line.